Hi guys, I'm going to try to be real quick on this. First and foremost, out of the 4 topics we're discussing, the crystal kamehameha. This is an idea for a unique ability that I don't think has existed in any anime, manga, video game, or story at all, ever. So I think this is a completely unique power that has never existed in any video game, anime, or manga ever. And if it has, please let me know in the comments. But as far as I know, this is a completely unique power that I just thought up. Anyway, the idea of the crystal kamehameha, the reason I named it that is the main application that I would assume the villain would be using, because I assume it would be a villain that would have this power, that would be fighting against Goku and everybody. And of course, the other 3 topics that'll be in the title we'll get to, but I wanted to get to the meat of the main thing I want to discuss, which is a unique ability. And my phone is ringing. Oh well, just try to ignore that. Anyway. Okay, I can't. Everyone's like, you could just restart the recording. No. I'll just do my intro. I was going to skip the intro because I'm like, I want to do a short video and do the intro, make it take too long. But no, fine. Greetings, one and all, to the most cursed, most cringiest corner of the internet. A YouTube channel content creator actively alienating everyone in both the analog and digital world. Welcome and good evening, wonderful dice of all alignments. I am Lunar D8. I promise nothing, I guarantee even less, and the only thing consistent about my channel is a complete and total lack of any professionalism. I don't usually say that part. Main point is, hi, I'm Lunar D8. I like anime, video games, manga, let's plays. I do some karaoke. I'm not good at singing, but I enjoy doing it. I also talk about whatever random stuff's on my mind. And just, this channel is basically a place where we talk about a filter and just say hi to everybody. Also, I'm a tsundere, so I'm never going to admit that I actually like you guys enjoying a video. You know, if I make a video worth enjoying. That being said, I'm all over the place, and there is no consistency, there is no professionalism. I've never made a cent off this channel, I never will. I'll never have sponsors or super chats or I'll never make a fucking cent from this. And that's fine, I don't want it to be about it. I don't knock people that do make money for stuff, and I think it's awesome when they do. Heck, there's this one dude who has a custom soundbite that says 10,000 bits in the air, and anyone donates that much, and I think that's awesome. I like fist pump, like, you know, the rock and roll thing in the air, you know, like everyone's like, why do you do that? That's so lame. I'm like, I get it, I'm lame. Okay, whatever. Anyway. And everyone's like, you could still, like, you know, just re-record the video. Like, no. This is like every video I make, awkward as fuck. And granted, there are some videos I could honestly suggest to you guys that would be enjoyable. Like Super Meat Boy Part 9. If you enjoy playing a bit of Rage. Other than that, the Thumper Let's Play, Jubilee, Splasher, Nerve, Cyberhook, my blind Let's Play of Resident Evil 7, Spooky's Jump Scare Mansion, The Perfect Apocalypse Purgatory Forever trilogy. Yeah, those would probably be fun to watch. Everyone's like, what else? I made a parody video of Sweet Dreams called All the Neckos Are Meowing for Head Pats. And I have a 3-minute long video that shows where I went to the floor 9,000 plus in the Binding of Isaac Repentance Infinite Basements. Yes, I have the world record for the deepest floor in the Binding of Isaac, not because it's a challenging record to be world record, but because it's a world record that no one else on the planet would even want to do. So, by that you would think I wouldn't be proud of it, but I am. It's like, it took a lot of time to do that. And in general, I thought it was fun. I'm silly. Or just cringe. I don't know. But I've already wasted 4.5 minutes and didn't get around to saying what the topic of the video is because I got distracted. But, story of the channel, I guess. Kind of jumped around quite a bit. Then again, we've been doing it for about 4 years now. So, and like I said, it's just, I like anime, I like video games. It gives, Nice to have someone to talk to, even if that someone's just my computer screen. So everyone's like, yeah, hi, it's Lunar D8, the lonely loser otaku. Insert random derogatory word, I guess. Whatever. It's not like it's not true. Oh well. It is what it is. Either way, I'm here annoying all of you. As we're now like 5.5 minutes into this, and I haven't even said the point of this. But at the very least, I'll say this. If you are still listening to this, 1, thank you, I appreciate you listening. 2, you must be very dedicated to hearing about this crystal kamehameha. Or somebody's time-stamped when I've actually stopped, I guess, having ADHD or autism, and I actually started talking about the subject of the video. That was supposed to be a super short video, because I'm trying really hard to make shorter videos. Because I had a bad tendency in the past just to go for hours and hours and hours in videos. And so, heck, I once made like a 13.5 hour long video that YouTube wouldn't even let me upload. But that was like 2.5 years ago. Oh, at some point, someone in the comments is trying to figure out like where that timestamp's going to be. They're like, oh, wow, we could have sworn it was at 5 minutes 40 seconds, but now it's 6.5 minutes in. And we're still not starting. Okay, so unless my phone starts ringing again, the crystal kamehameha, slipstream, atomic telekinesis, and kurapika, god of destruction. Let's start with the main thing I was trying to talk about before I got distracted. Crystal kamehameha. The idea is that this would be a technique used by a villain. And the reason to be called this is because it would technically be a technique that this villain would not have named, and instead would just have been using, and Goku would have named it, or somebody else would have named it, because of the application. And everyone's like, this is a roundabout way of saying anything. Get on with it. Okay, the timestamp everyone was looking for is 7 minutes and 30 seconds. That's when we actually get into the meat of this. Okay, the crystal kamehameha. This is an attack that doesn't exist anywhere else, as far as I know. If it does, let me know. But it's the ability to turn energy attacks into solid matter. So the idea is that, say Goku shoots a kamehameha at somebody. What if the villain could just turn Goku's kamehameha into a crystal? To where it's still energy. Like it doesn't stop being energy. It still has the same properties of the energy. Meaning a stronger energy blast would still have more energy to it than if like you turned a energy blast from Yamcha at full power into crystal, as opposed to an energy blast from like Vegeta at full power into crystal. They would have different properties, possibly different properties based on different people, but they would have different properties, possibly weight or how it affects people. And also the idea of what if you could turn it into different elements, or heck, even like if someone powers up the ki pouring off somebody, if you could turn that into the different elements, like ice or fire or something, or tinfoil, or iron, I don't know. But the main idea being this. If you could turn both your own ki blasts and other people's ki blasts into solid objects. So say Vegeta tries to launch a big bang attack at you and you just turned it into stone. And this big bang attack, instead of launching forward, you just like drops down to the ground as a solid rock. You turn Goku launched Kamehameha at you, and it's like, as the moment it gets to you, you basically just turn it all into crystal and it stops moving forward. And then it just like falls down like a pillar. But then imagine this. Imagine someone turns Goku's Kamehameha into like solid crystal and then picks it up like a gigantic baseball bat and just beats Goku with his own Kamehameha. But that's the idea. Also, the person having this ability would also have the ability to copy any energy attack they see. but also the ability to freely turn both their energy attack or other people's energy attacks into solid matter. I'm going with crystal because I just thought that would be the most visually appealing thing they could animate. I just thought it would look cool. Other suggestions? Like, I'm not really attached to being used one way or another. I'm just saying, if I watch anime, I want it to look cool. I care less about logic, and granted, I am going to go over logic and stuff with animes when I watch them, but I care more about if it looks cool and it's fun. Do I enjoy watching the show? But yeah, Crystal Kamehameha. Mainly the ability to turn energy into solid matter. Namely of ki blasts. Imagine Frieza's powers up his death ball. And you just turned it into I don't know, a giant sugar cube. Just turn it into solid sugar. I mean, yeah, I guess you go in different directions with that. You're turning it different. It's now you turn Goku's spirit bomb into a giant ball of barbecue ribs. I'm not sure how that works. I imagine Goku would probably be best friends with that person at that point. Say, Goku, charge spirit bomb. Here you go. It's these ribs taste kind of like deer. It's a Team 4-star joke. I don't know if anyone... But, heck, there's some people recently doing a bridge series. They've been starting to abridge the Otherworld tournament with PyCon and stuff. And I asked them if they were going to do superheroes and stuff, but that's pretty cool. Everyone's stay focused. I'm not going to succeed at that. But yeah, the idea of the Crystal Kamehameha is a villain who could turn energy blasts into solid matter. And then just starts trying to think of a really good example of imagine Piccolo tries to use a special beam cannon on someone, and the villain turns the special beam cannon into a solid object, and then beats Piccolo with it. It's a baton or something. Or twirls it like a baton. And you can also freely turn bits of it back into energy. So imagine he Piccolo shoots a special beam cannon at him, and he turns it into a solid object, and then it breaks off part of the special beam cannon and just starts hitting Piccolo with it, and then turns to Gotenks and starts shooting bits of the energy out of the solid special beam cannon he's holding, it's an assault rifle. So he's holding the special beam cannon piece that he turns solid like a gun, and he's just tapping it and little pieces of it fly off. Think the Yellow Devil from Mega Man 2. And everyone's no one listening to this has ever played any of the original Mega Man games. I'm well, you probably should. Well, how'd you do it at Lunar? Terrible. I am terrible at that style of platformer. I did like the old school Mario games. This is such a lack of focus. I will try to go faster through the rest of these points. But yeah, the idea of this, it's a complete unique power. I don't think this has ever existed in any anime, video game, or manga. And if it does, let me know. I don't think anyone else in the world has ever thought of this idea. But if they have, that's awesome. But I want to know, because then, if you tell me an anime it's from, then I can look it up and I can actually see it being done. And that'd be so cool to see. So yeah, if it exists, let me know. It'd be awesome. But that being said, just imagine the applications for that. Just imagine the different types of energy attacks. Heck, imagine that in different stories, like Naruto. Imagine if you could turn the Rasengan, Naruto's throwing a Rasengan at you, just turned it You just turned it into ramen. Okay, enough of the food jokes. I'm just saying, what if you could like turn it into crystal? So it was crystal. Though I think it makes more sense with like beam weapons. Then again, at that point, what if we went in other directions with that? Like what if Sasuke's running a Chidori and you like turn the Chidori into like pasta? Okay, stop with the food. Spaghetti sauce? Ragu! Okay. Okay. I am just imagining a spirit bomb made of lasagna. Okay. Vegeta does not appreciate that. I am now imagining Vegeta's final flash, but now it's chili. And the Super Ghost Kamikazes are just grilled cheese sandwiches. Okay. Me, well, being a complete fucking dumbass aside, and like I said, I am a tsundere. Like, one, I'll never admit it, but I do actually want people to enjoy the videos. But two, I also lack the complete focus to make a video, because on the one hand, I do want to make videos people enjoy. On the other hand, I am just very much just here to do whatever I want to do. I mean, granted, if I could do something people like, that's cool. That'd be awesome. That's a great bonus. But honestly, I'm just a crazy person that wants to talk about whatever the fuck I want to talk about. And honestly, if I worried too much about talking about, like, oh, I have to put a filter on so people like me and stuff, and I am all likable, I probably wouldn't say shit. And everyone's like, that'd be an improvement. Like, I know. But yeah, I'm just saying of this. I worry too much about a video being perfect. I'd probably never make a video because nothing would ever be good enough. And that's the idea. Like, a lot of life is just so stressful and shit. And with this, I don't have to be stressed about fucking shit. You know, I know about a year and a half ago, like, I was trying to do a one carry, but I kept getting pissed off. I just, like, was fucking up so bad. Or a time a recording program doesn't work. And I'm like, that was such a good video. That actually was nice. And it just, fuck. I don't know. Everyone's like, are you starting to fall asleep? It's bedtime for me, okay? I work a lot. I'm sleepy. And everyone's like, are you going to cuddle a pillow? Like, yes. Like, weeb. I'm like, I get it. I like anime. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with liking anime. There's nothing wrong with feeling like you need to be able to have cuddles in order to go to bed. I will not apologize for that. I will not apologize for hugging a pillow or growing up watching Dragon Ball Z. It was a lot of fun and I greatly enjoyed it, and I still do. And everyone's like, why do you like video game music? And I'm like, I don't like video game music. I love video game music. I love video game music. I love anime music. And granted, of course, there's tons of anime music I've never heard. And there's times I'll forget old anime music that I've listened to and thought was awesome, and then I just don't remember. But, that's awesome. Because it means there's always some new great music for me to come across. And heck, I enjoy music a lot. So, like, my music playlist, like, what I listen to, like, you're listening to Rammstein, Icebreaker, System Down, Korn, Disturbed, Tool, A Perfect Circle, Bruce Faulkner's Dragon Ball Z soundtrack, anime soundtracks, video game soundtracks, Final Fantasy VIII soundtrack, Final Fantasy IX soundtrack, various anime opening songs, some from as far back as the 60s. Though I'd say, honestly, the best anime was the 80s and 90s, but I really did get a kick out of a lot of the early 2000s and the 70s animes. But of course, there's good animes before that, and honestly, the amount of anime that comes out every year, it completely dwarfs the quantity of anime that came out in the past. Though I would say there was a lot more high-quality anime in the past, and a lot more, I don't know, people tend to have it's nice to have computer stuff because you can get more anime a lot faster. It animates so much quicker than humans can draw. But at the same time, it's just a lot of the drawing, it just, I don't know, it hits different. I don't know if that's the right way to say it. Just, it's like a lot of the older, like Outlaw Star. You guys ever watch Outlaw Star? I really enjoyed that anime. It was a really good anime. It's a short anime. It's only 26 episodes. But some animes, you don't have to keep going forever. Currently, I know some animes are really awesome. You're like, you want to see more, and that's understandable. But there are some animes that are fine just the way they are, and they honestly never need a reboot, or a remake, or a sequel, or additional episodes, or a new season. Like, Outlaw Star, it's only 26 episodes, but it is fucking perfect the way it is. And I think it's one of the absolute must-watch animes out there. Outlaw Star. It's such a good anime. And now you're imagining the cat girl naked. To be fair, she's hot. And my imagination's really good at rendering jiggle physics for titties. This has gone from, "Hi, I'm Lunar D8. I'm going to explain my unique idea for Dragon Ball Z superpower," to, "I am imagining cat girls with big boobies." Yeah. Well, remember what I said about, watching what you say because you don't want to be unlikable. Yeah, this is a place where we talk about a filter. Like I said, it's not like I'm some brand or some business or making these videos to pay the rent or some shit. I don't make a fucking cent. This is mainly just, I'm a lonely, pathetic loser who has no friends, who is all alone, and this computer screen is pretty much all I have to talk to. So, and I don't even remember what a hug feels like. So now that we've established I am a completely unlikable failure at life, that honestly, if any of you met me in real life, you would probably hate me and dislike me. And there's nothing about me that you probably would respect or care about in any way. We can move on to me being a complete degenerate piece of shit, talking about how much I love big boobs and cat girls. Also cat boys too, I'm bisexual. But hey, I'm just saying, I don't know why I'm thinking about Iron Mouse now. You guys ever watch the VTuber Iron Mouse? She is very wholesome. You ever watch her reactions to Tipsy Bartender? That's pretty funny. Heck, there was also Pikami. Pikachu. You know who I'm talking about. She also reacted to those videos. It was hilarious. Little cute, adorable fucking tea kettle. That being said, Iron Mouse reminds me of Topo. Not Topo the Destroyer from Dragon Ball Super. A different Topo. I'm talking about Topo. Or is it Topo? I think it's Topo. Yeah, it's Topo. Topo from Brave Fencer Musashi. The best game ever made for the original PlayStation. Granted, there was a spiritual reboot made of it called Samurai Legend Musashi for the PS2. I still want a Mega Man Legends 3. Mega Man Legends 1 was a kick-ass game. Mega Man Legends 1. Absolutely masterpiece of a video game. But anyway, Brave Fencer Musashi had voice actors from the Dot Hack Sign anime. I don't know if you guys ever heard of Dot Hack Sign. It's an anime with a character called Tsukasa. It is... the opening song to that's pretty cool. It's like, granted, the way they say it's kind of odd to pronounce. Like, you have to look at the lyrics at first to know what. How come I must know where the possession mostly? Or it's like, yeah. And of course they're doing the whole it's in a game like Sword Art Online, but it's kind of more depressing, but also more homey. Everyone's like, that doesn't make sense. It would make sense if you watched the anime. I'm just saying this. Dot Hack Sign is an absolutely incredible anime. Granted, they made multiple Dot Hack animes. And I'll say this. The best game ever made for the PS2 is Shining Force EXA. It's technically the 5th Shining Force. I think Neo was the 4th. Honestly, out of all the Shining Force games, I only like the first one, which the original 3 Shining Force games were like Final Fantasy Tactics. It was on Sega Genesis. I'll tell you this. Shining Force 1 was very well balanced, and everything about the game was incredible. Honestly, I'd say Shining Force 1 was probably the best game ever made as an RPG for the Sega Genesis. Like, there's other games out there for the Sega Genesis that were pretty kick-ass too. But as far as RPGs, the original Shining Force. But like I said, there's like probably more Shining Forces, but I'll say this. I like Shining Force 1 and 5. Shining Force 1. And honestly, I'll say this. If you only had to pick between one or the other, Shining Force 1 or Shining Force EXA, obviously start with Shining Force 1. Like, they're not related stories or anything. I'm just saying this. Shining Force 1 is an amazing RPG. It plays like a Final Fantasy Tactics game. And it's got everything about it's awesome. The story, the characters, the gameplay, the art, the sprites, the backgrounds, the music, the story. Oh my fucking god! It's so good. It's such a good fucking story. But I'll say this, Shining Force EXA, best game ever made for the PS2. It is an action game where you can go around with a two-handed sword, cleaving through 100 people at once. It's a very fun game. But you may lose track of time playing it. It's kind of like Dragon Quest VIII. Dragon Quest VIII was a really good game. Though Jessica, you guys remember the redhead in that game? She is very pretty. And now I'm imagining boobs again. I'm trying not to get distracted, guys. Just be thankful my phone hasn't started ringing again. Anyway, Shining Force EXA is the best. Like I said, other Shining Force games, I only like the first one and EXA. EXA is the best game ever made for the PS2. Though also, I'll say, I really like Grandia 3 and Star Ocean Till the End of Time. Really great games. But I'll say this. While it's a good game, Dot Hack Infection it's not the best game ever made for the PS2, but it is a good game. But the main thing I have to say about it is this. It is the most immersive fucking game you will ever play. Especially if you are even remotely a fan of the thing. It's kind of like Dragon Ball Sparking Zero. It's a game mainly meant for people who are actually fans of the show. Granted, it's an okay game in its own right, of course. But the main people it's meant for are people that love Dragon Ball Z, who love Akira Toriyama. Heck, I feel like that sort of thing. I feel like if anyone makes any additional Dragon Ball stuff, it should be something that Akira Toriyama would have been proud to have. Like, I don't think anyone making any DBZ stuff of any kind, one, should be unfamiliar with DBZ, and two, should make anything that Akira Toriyama would be ashamed of. But yeah, Dot Hack Infection. Also, it came with OVAs. Each one was like, it actually was separated into many different games, and each came with its own anime OVA disc. So it was 2 discs, and one of them was an anime OVA, which was really cool. But Dot Hack Infection, the first of those games, it's a great game. What was I talking? Oh, right. Anyway, Brave Fencer Musashi. Brave Fencer Musashi is the best game ever made for the PS1. And I'll tell you this. It's got great voice acting. Some of the same voice actors from the Dot Hack sign anime and video game. As well as professional anime voice actors. It's got beautiful orchestral music, beautiful brushstroke artwork, and all in all, the story's awesome. All the characters got food puns for names. You are literally saving the all-you-can-eat kingdom from the Thirst Quencher Empire. It's a lot of fun. But they did make a sort of spiritual reboot for the PS2 called Samurai Legend Musashi. And I'll say this, I still technically want a Brave Fencer Musashi 3. And I'll say this, when you play the original Brave Fencer Musashi on PS1, you can tell, especially when you know the story about the original Crash Bandicoot games, about how they were worried about how it would light all the PlayStations on fire because of the limitations of what they were doing with Crash Bandicoot. If you haven't had a chance to be familiar with that, look up videos on how the developers of Crash Bandicoot talk about how they designed Crash Bandicoot for the original PlayStation back in the late 90s. It's fascinating to listen to. But anyway, main point I'm trying to say here is this. I spaced out. I'm sorry. I'll remember what I was talking. Musashi. All right. Something about. All right. You could tell playing Brave Fencer Musashi there was a lot of stuff that they wanted to add, but they just didn't have room for it. There's limitations to the console as well as limitation to storage space to a disc. I mean, that's part of the reason why a lot of the, say, Final Fantasy games were like 4 different discs for the game, because there were limitations to what it could do. Honestly, what they did do for Brave Fencer Musashi, it's impressive they got all that on at one disc to begin with, let alone the fact that the PlayStation could handle that. But of course, I still want a PS5 level graphics sequel called Brave Fencer Musashi 3. And of course, there were so many things in the game where you could tell the developers wanted to add more, but they were pressed for limitations of what the discs and the console could handle. And even then, there's also limitations with the humans. I mean, they have to it's one thing to have this ambition to oh, I want to put this in the game, and I want to put this in the game, I want to put this in the game. But one, you have to understand there's only so much space to put on a disc, especially the original PlayStation 1, which at that time was a massive amount, but even then, many developers were running out of space and trying to be creative in order to figure out a way to make the game work. But also, even if they had all the room in the world to, have all the boss fights and extra stages they wanted, they'd still have to, make all of it. And, I mean, obviously that adds a lot more work onto their workload. So, I mean, the people making the games, they're only human. They can only do so much. It's kind of the idea, on the one hand, I'll say hand-drawn stuff I like and prefer to computer-generated or AI. But at the same time, I have no qualms with people using computer-generated or AI to make stuff. I understand it's a lot faster. I understand that, well, there's times where there's a small studio that just does not have the budget. And a lot of times you can also just hand draw a few scenes and use AI to fill in the gaps. I mean, at the end of the day, is this. I mean, as long as you're not pretending it's not that, then that's fine. I see nothing wrong with somebody wanting to make it that way. It's kind of like the idea of pizza. I think pizza's delicious. Now, whether that pizza's made by, the dough's stretched by hand, or if it's some, machine that does it, I don't care. All I care about is do I like the pizza? Does it taste good? Same thing with anime. Do I like the story? Do the characters look cool? Do I want to bang some of them? Heck, the villains. Sometimes a mark of a good villain, it means people dress up as the villain for Halloween for trick or treat. And sometimes a good mark of a villain is you hate them enough to where it's like you watch a movie and a person, you hate a certain person, it makes you realize, hey, the person who's playing that character did a really good job at acting. And now I'm imagining villains that I would want to fuck. How about Bowsette? It's Bowser, but long blonde hair and big tits. Also a big titty golf girlfriend. And now I'm imagining her as Futanari. So now she just got big tits and a big dick. Though her eyes are very pretty. And her hair is... What do you call it when you're imagining jiggle physics for hair? Is it just you're imagining hair flowing in the wind? Now I'm imagining her on a trampoline. Everyone's like, stay focused. I'm like, maybe I'll stay focused. I don't know. I forget what I was fucking talking about. All right, Brave Fence Musashi. It's a great game. Samurai Legend Musashi. They changed the story a bit. They try to retell it in a different way. It's now a fixed cell shaded manga style artwork. It's got terrible voice acting. The story is a little less imaginative. The game mechanics are different. Game combat's different. You're now saving a bunch of space mystic hippie princesses on a space whale from an evil corporation, and as opposed to saving the all-you-can-eat kingdom from the thirst quencher empire. And you went from orchestral music to like surf guitar. Now I'll say this, in its own right, Samurai Legend Musashi on the PS2 is not a bad game. It's not a bad game. And I'll say this, I like everything about Brave Fence Musashi better. Like heck, even the game mechanics. Like, it's different. Both the games play very differently. But Samurai Legend Musashi is not a bad game. And I'm certainly still thankful that I played it. I still play that game, and I eventually came back and played it a second time. And this is just casually by myself. Back, because internet wasn't a thing back then, I don't think so. I mean, it was like the early 2000s, right? So internet didn't exist yet. YouTube wouldn't exist for like another decade or some shit. Everyone's like, what about exact dates? I don't know, I'm just ballparking this shit based on memory. Like, I remember, like, when I first had a computer, I was like, 19? It was dial-up. And like every time you turn the internet on, you just hear like angry fax machine noises. The angry robots are screaming at us. I don't know. But yeah, I mean, it's a good game in its own right. I mean, yeah, I cringed at the terrible voice acting, and some of the dialogue was so fucking bad. But I'll tell you this, if they ever remake the game, I don't want them changing anything to appease some stupid fucking modern audience or censoring shit. I want the game as is. If we're going to bring back an old game, I mean, it's one thing to touch up graphics a little bit to make it look all fancy and snazzy and stuff, but you should still be able to play the original version. Like Spyro the Dragon, the reignited stuff I think looks very pretty and very beautiful, but I still feel, I don't know, a much warmer sensation in my heart looking at the original graphics. I don't know, maybe it's just me being the weeb loser I am, but I just remember more fondly the original look of Spyro the Dragon. And again, I'm not saying I don't appreciate how they, revamped it when they remade it, and I think the new version does look very beautiful and amazing, to the point that I'd probably be like fangasming over it, like just praising it and probably just being full mass erection, just like, yes, look at all those blades of grass, look at that animation, But at the same time, I don't know, it's fond memories of the original. One, not only do I just, heck, remember like I've seen like remakes of like the Silent Hill type games, and it's cool to have like improved graphics and stuff. I got it, I get it. It's cool, it is. But whether it's like Resident Evil, Silent Hill, Final Fantasy 7, 8, 9, I understand a lot of people feel like, especially the way the characters are rendered for like 7, 8, 9, how that's not exactly even remotely comparable to even stuff on the PS3. But I liked the old versions. Yes, it's cool to see an updated version of it. Heck, if I ever have an AI stuff, I'll probably do it myself. Just because it'd be cool to see. But it's still like a special fondness I have for the original versions. Not only is it like a nostalgia, but it's also just... I like the aesthetics of it. And I'll say this. There are certain things in the old PlayStation... And the same thing with the Super Nintendo, Sega Genesis era stuff. Like, take Final Fantasies 4, 5, and 6. Yes, it's cool to see the modern, updated renditions of it, where it's all pretty looking and looks like an actual straight-up fucking badass anime of, like, 4, 5, and 6. But at the same time, looking back, I still like the artwork for the sprites. And, of course, I know they've done sprite remasters, where they've touched up the colors and stuff for the sprites. I mean, that's cool too. But still, like, looking back, I still feel like a little bit of a warm fondness for the original version of the sprites and the old backgrounds. Like, heck, take Final Fantasy V. Even though it's just a flat 2D background, I think they're very beautiful. I think they're very pretty. I think they would look cool made into a 3D VR environment for like a VR chat. Same way of like Lake Junon out of Mega Man Legends, or the Steamwood Forest out of Brave Fencer Musashi 1. It's just... Samurai Legend Musashi is a good game, but it's absolute garbage compared to the first one. But I'll say this, I would still recommend you play it. I'd still say it's a good game. But I would say if you have a choice between the two, absolutely play Brave Fencer Musashi. And if you're going to play both, play Brave Fencer Musashi first. Okay? Heck, if I had to pick Assassin's Creed games, I'd say Assassin's Creed 2, 4, and 5 are guess. So the one with Ezio, and then of course Black Flag and Rogue. But yeah, the PlayStation stuff, like it's really cool getting the different, like look at the different consoles the way they look, or read the different specifications for how much data each of them can have for storage or processing power. And then there's also looking at the different controllers. Like, look at the controllers for each console and how they've changed over the years. Or just look at the types of graphics you get. And of course, yes, I understand there's the interest in remakes of games like Silent Hill. And granted, I don't want to make it sound like I'm just praising the scary aspects. But I would be very remiss if I did not mention this. Horror games, I think, are scariest when they are rendered with the old PlayStation 1 graphics. Now, don't get me wrong. You can have a really great horror game that's much lower graphics. It could even be a little indie fan game with some hand-drawn characters. And it's just still pictures, almost like a visual novel. And you can have a really great one that's a 3D immersive environment that is like PS5, like Elden Ring sort of stuff. That's really cool. Those are also good games. But I feel like when it comes to the scariest horror game environment, I think the polygon style out of the original PlayStation from the late 90s, the mid and late 90s, like if I had to pick a year, 1997. I think that makes for the best horror games, for the scariest ones, even if it doesn't look as realistic. I don't know, I might be the only one who thinks that. I will say this though, aside from horror, because while I do like horror games, I prefer the graphics of the PlayStation to be used for something like Spyro the Dragon. An environment that seems... I don't know, what's... like Switzerland? Like, I've never been to Europe at all, let alone Switzerland. But, like, I've seen pictures and little videos on the internet of places out of Switzerland that looks like... you have a scene of just luscious fields with very clean streams of water that are just rushing by, like babbling brooks and shit, and rushing streams and rivers. And you see these big, huge mountains in the background, and they're all pristine, and you can see the snow caps, and you see the sky, and everything just looks like it's the most peaceful, happy environment ever. I don't know. Like, I've never been to Switzerland, and I imagine there's a lot of variety to it, like with many countries. Like many countries, there's, one city is going to be drastically different from another. It's not like one spot of Switzerland. It's not like all of Switzerland's going to look like one thing. Same way like America or England or Germany or Japan. Not all of Japan looks one way. Not all of Germany looks one way. I'm just saying, any of the pictures and stuff I've seen of, like, scenery, especially environment in Switzerland, it looks so beautiful. It looks like it'd be just like you just want to chill and enjoy the environment. And that's the sort of vibe, like especially Spyro the Dragon, that you sort of get out of that. It's that, yes, the games are fun and it's cool to run around collecting things. But even the more somber environments, even the more spooky environment. Oh, now I'm imagining Zentreya naked. Though I do like the Bowsette outfit more. It's just she's had a sort of witch, air quotes, outfit that is really cute. Though also the Slipknot, rocker t-shirt outfit's really cute. I'm just saying I like her as the Bowsette outfit. Woogaline. Also, Shy Lily's really pretty. And it's like, everyone's like, stop being a simp, Lunar. It's like, I'm not simping. I'm just saying they have nice personalities. I enjoy their voices. Their models are very pretty. And in general, their videos make me laugh. So everyone's like, what do you think about right now? It's definitely not NSFW. Trust me, bro. But, yeah. Aside from that, what I was talking about, spooky. You guys remember Ultra J-Man? He also did stuff with Rom Scout. How to Be a Bastard, and I Want to Be the Guy, and Bonesaw, and Battle Kid. Really great games. They're funny. It was fun. I'm sleepy. Everyone's like, you didn't even talk about the rest of the fucking video. Like, you talk about Crystal Kamehamehas, and then it's like something about Spyro the Dragon or something. I'm just saying, even like the spooky and environments and the Spyro, they're so fucking chill. And don't get me wrong, it looked cool in the updated version too. That's awesome. And they're still really chill. And granted, I'm a bit nostalgic for the original version. Like, I still like that. I still like how the original version of the graphics for a lot of the PS1 games look. I don't know, maybe not Blam Machine Head. Blam Machine Head was a really great game. I feel like Blam Machine Head's like, it's very difficult, and a lot of the stages look a bit brown and it's not very varied. If you know what I mean. It's still a good game. I'm just saying it's an acquired taste. Honestly, I'd say the best thing about the game is just the soundtrack. The music for it is an absolute banger. Then again, most of the video games I'll ever suggest to you guys, I think I have awesome soundtracks. But just Blam Machine Head, like, it's okay gameplay and stuff. But I'd say its main redeeming quality is the music. I like the music. It's cool music. And everyone's like, Drink caffeine or go to bed, Lunar. I'm like, I'm gonna go to bed. I just wanted to. This is supposed to be like a short 2-minute video. I was supposed to hop on here and be like, crystal kamehamehas. This is a unique power that exists nowhere else, and I just thought it up. And then you turn energy beams into rocks. It's like Goku, like kamehameha, and then you turn it into a crystal, and you pick it up like a giant baseball bat and beat Goku with his own kamehameha. Which is awkward to say because I think Goku's awesome. I'm just saying, it'd be cool to see in animation. And I don't think that power has ever existed anywhere else in any anime or video game. Like, I don't think anyone has ever thought of the idea of, hey, if Vegeta launches a fucking Gallic gun at me, what if I could turn it into a crystal? And then break it apart and build a house out of his attack. You're like, I am now living in your Gallic gun. I have pieces of Gohan's Masenko in the roof. And the foundation, my entire fucking basement is just made out of Kikoho. It's just Tri-Beam Ha everywhere. And everyone's like, what's wrong with the kitchen? Why is the kitchen on fire? I'm like, I tried to make an oven out of a Destructo disc combined with a solar flare. And everyone's like, you're just being a dumbass now. I'm like, no, I'm not. I am being facetious. And everyone's like, you're a fucking sarcastic prick. And now I'm imagining Lady Dimitrescu from Resident Evil 8, but with a dick. And everyone's like, stay focused. It's like, no, I don't think I will. And everyone's like, was that a Captain America reference? Maybe. You'll never know. Why is Bowsette holding a fucking Captain America shield now? Holy shit. If you imagine Bowsette running while holding a Captain America shield, her tits bounce so much. Well, I think I've sufficiently made everyone dislike me. So, anyway, what the fuck am I talking about? Right, the PlayStation. Like, I'm just saying that the pictures I've seen in Switzerland, it looks so pretty. It looks so beautiful. It looks like it's just so relaxing. And that's the thing, it's just like a lot of those video games like Mega Man Legends, Brave and Musashi, Spyro the Dragon. It's just the environments. It looks like it'd be cool to take the environment from Spyro the Dragon. Like, take all of the Artisans Worlds and just have it as one gigantic fucking VR chat room. Just make it all VR chat, and everyone's just there chilling. Like I haven't been on VR chat in like years or year. It's been slightly over a year. I went on there. Well, actually, went back on there to make a video about like what if everybody in the world was a VTuber, but that didn't count because that wasn't me interacting with people. But main thing is like went on there briefly to like I'll try to be sociable. And there's this thing, it's just this big thing of like a skyscraper. And it's like these bunch of living rooms all connected together, multiple floors. So many big rooms. And it's overlooking a city at night. Big city. Lights everywhere. And it's raining. And here's the thing. In a game you're meant to be sociable. And it's made for people who are antisocial like me, to make it easier for you to be sociable. I instead, technically, I was sitting in real life, but as my character, I was just standing. Because there was large windows in the giant skyscraper living rooms that we were in, overlooking this giant rainy city at night. Big city, all the buildings had lights, and you see, and there's a giant rainstorm, and thunder was coming down, and all this rain was pouring down really hard. And I spent an hour just standing at that window, talking to no one, not even being aware, not even remotely cognizant of anyone around me. And I'm not hearing anyone else. I'm not talking to anyone else. I am just standing at this window, overlooking an imaginary city at night, watching an imaginary rain from an imaginary storm. It's kind of like you ever have a campfire, you just sit there and you just look at the embers and the fire, you just watch it. Then again, I'm the kind of person that anytime there's a storm around here, as long as I'm not at work or some shit or busy, I'll sit on my fucking front porch and drink some tea and just watch the rain. I like to just watch the trees move in the wind, and I like to sit out. Heck, even on days where it's not raining, I like to sit out on the grass and just watch the clouds go by or watch the trees move in the wind. I go to fucking bike trails and I walk on a bike trail. And I don't bring music or anything with me. I either am just walking silently, just enjoying the sounds of nature. There's some streams there, and I'll sit and stand and watch a stream go by. It was a very slow, very sad, pathetic stream, but still. In the same regard, there's sometimes I'll just be walking out the bike trail and I'll just be talking to myself about whatever. Sometimes it's about anime stuff. Sometimes I'm going over about real life issues in my life with myself, and I'm just sort of weighing pros and cons of different scenarios, and just thinking about, okay, what should I do about this? How do I feel about that? And stuff like that. But a lot of times I won't even be doing that. I'll just be walking down the bike trail and either I'll be immersed in my thoughts, or I'll just be chilled and relaxed and zoned out, and I'll just be enjoying nature and looking at the trees as I walk by. I know, that sounds so lame. I like to walk on bike trails. It's even more lame that I was if I had a partner, especially, I'd want them to walk on the fucking bike trail with me. Granted, yeah, we'd hold hands some of the time, but not all the time. Just saying. I just really like nature. Heck, I did a lot of camping when I was younger, but I can't see myself ever wanting to do any camping ever again. I like my bed. Don't get me wrong, I enjoy thunderstorms, but I don't want to be out in them. Same way, I enjoy going out and enjoying nature, but I want to be able to come home still every single day to my nice comfy bed and my nice comfy shower, and I want to be able to hop in my queen-size bed with my pillows, both the pillows I rest my head on and the pillows I fucking cuddle, because it helps me sleep. To be able to feel like I'm holding, I don't know, an imaginary person. This went from, hey, the person who can't stay focused on things, I'm honestly just sound pathetic to all of you. But you know what? I'm not going to be ashamed of anything, nor am I going to apologize for anything. Same way, I'd probably say something that offends everyone. Honestly, no matter who you are, no matter what you think, there's probably something I've said that offends you. And what I have to say to that is, I don't care, and I'm apologizing for nothing. That being said, there is no qualms or quarrels directly with you. I'm not trying to fuck with people. I'm just gonna be myself, and you guys just take it or leave it. I am who I am. That just is what it is. I really don't care either way. But yeah, sleepy. Okay, I probably should end the video as I'm starting to pass the fuck out. Anyway, this is fuck that. Brave Fencer Musashi is a really great game. I like the game. What was really nice about is About Spyro the Dragon. I'd play Spyro the Dragon and Crash Bandicoot and Mario 1 and Mario 3 with my mom. Maybe one day I'll hopefully get a chance to play those games with her again, but yeah. I love my mom very, very much. And I care about her a lot. And I do have fond memories growing up of a lot of things where, I mean, granted, I do have disagreements with my mom on certain things, but I'll say this. I wouldn't trade my mom for any other mom in the world. And I love her very much. And I have fond memories, sitting and playing a video game next to her when I was a kid. Or playing with like toys and cars and stuff. Or her going with me to the park or taking me places and stuff like that. Or going to the zoo when I was a kid. And I really do appreciate that. Heck, my mom did a lot of home cooking back then, and she'd cook and I'd sit and talk to her. And heck, I've been in quite a few car accidents in my life. I remember one car accident I was like, 11, 12 years old? I think 11. And a tiny little vehicle got hit, and my mom leaned over me. Probably saved my life. I appreciate that. Though she did get a scar on her forehead, which is kind of scary from my point of view, because I could see her skull, and that made me feel very sad and scared. So I'm glad she didn't die. Heck, she had 3 strokes and an aneurysm like 8 years ago. It's actually a miracle that she lived. Thankfully happened in public, so they were able to take her to the doctor immediately. Had it happened at home, well, it would have been a hopeless cause and she would have been dead. And I would have been very, very sad and devastated by that. That being said, about 4 or 5 months after that, she made a full recovery. So that's awesome. But then again, my eldest sister also had an aneurysm about like 7 years before my mom did. She did not survive that. That was... yeah. But, yeah, I'm glad my mom's still alive. Granted, I don't see her very often. And, well, things are a bit odd, especially with... a lot of things. And like I said, nothing personally against Dad. It's just... technically he's my stepdad, but I consider him my dad. He's a better dad than what my biological father was. But at the same time, I have very serious complaints on things. But at the same time, I don't blame him. And I don't wish anything bad on him, or I still respect him. It's just... I have a mix of feelings on that I'm still processing. But yeah, I love my mom very, very much. And my mom loves me. I hope in the future, like I said, especially if I ever talk to her about certain things, that I want my mom to always be proud of me and to love me and still care about me, and I wouldn't want her to hate me or be disgusted by me or dislike me for like being bisexual or anything like that. But like I said, I have a lot of paranoid thoughts about how that would go. But honestly, I don't know. But all that aside, the main thing I want to say is I love my mom very much, and I really did enjoy sitting and playing like Spyro the Dragon with her back then, and Crash Bandicoot, and heck, Robo Warrior and Dragon Spirit. Got other NES games, but heck, I really played quite a bit of Mario 1 and Mario 3. Granted, she was never really any good at it, but that wasn't the point. Heck, it's not like I was an expert myself. I just enjoyed spending time with my mom. And heck, like I said, I still do try to go over and see her sometimes. I'll play like a board game like Battleship with her. But I'll be honest, I don't hardly see my mom. But, like I said, things are complicated with that. And I do worry about things if I do try to have certain discussions, that things could become much more complicated, especially given how Dad feels about things. Though honestly, he is also kind of crazy. It makes sense if I've in other videos where I've explained more of that in depth. But I'm trying to make a short video, and honestly, I'm failing. Somehow we're an hour and 6 minutes in. I don't know, just some Aspire the Dragon. I love my mom. I love my mom very much. Alright, I was talking about like Topo. Iron Mouse. There is a mouse girl in Brave Fencer Musashi called Topo. She looks like Iron Mouse in a way. I think Iron Mouse would probably get a kick out of playing Brave Fencer Musashi. It's got great music, by the way. I think when especially if Iron Mouse were to play the game blind, if Iron Mouse were to play Brave Fencer Musashi, I think she would really like it. I think she would find it more fun than any Legend of Zelda game that's ever existed. And I think when she gets to the part with Topo, the mouse girl, you get introduced to her a few times throughout the story earlier on, and you do have interactions with her in Chapter 2, 3, 4, and 5. It's one of the final boss fights where you fight against... And this thing I kind of joke about, like, hey, you're having a boss fight against Iron Mouse. I guess the main point I'm trying to say without this is this. I think Iron Mouse is a really cool person, and I really enjoy her content as a VTuber. And I think she's a very wholesome person. I think she's good at singing. I think her reactions are hilarious. And I think that she would be flattered at the comparison of Topo the Mouse Girl. Beyond that, I do think it'd be cool, like their little VR chat levels made from video games, like Brave Fencer Musashi. I don't know how like Silent Hill would work. Imagine if you made a VR chat room based off of levels from the old school Silent Hill 2. I mean, I don't know how that would work as VR chat. But I don't really remember what I was talking about. If there was some subject I was talking about that I forgot about, let me know in the comments. I guess I can get back to it. But honestly, I don't remember what the fuck I was talking about. I at least vaguely remember what the subject of the video is. There's the crystal kamehameha, which is the idea of if you had someone who could turn energy attacks, both their own and other people's, into solid crystal, and then could, use that however you want. But yeah, just the idea of turning energy into solid matter, especially energy blasts and attacks. Just like, okay, someone shoots a kamehameha at you and now it's a crystal, and it falls down and is affected by gravity. I don't know. What were the other things? Slipstream. This is an idea also based off the kamehameha thing, but it's different. The idea of, what if you could freely change the direction that the energy flows in? Like if, say, Goku fires a kamehameha, What if you could just make the energy flow backwards all of a sudden? Like, change the way gravity is, or inertia, but with blasts and ki. Or what if you could, like, freely move through energy blasts without taking damage? And I know a lot of people say, well, if you have enough power, you can do that. Like, say, Cooler in movie 5, or Broly in movie 7 of the old school DBZ stuff, back when you had, like, American rock bands, like Disturbed and Pantera, as part of the soundtrack, which is cool. Or like, but I'm just saying, what if you could like jump into, like, like Sensui, not Sensui, Shinobu, the yeah, the guy, the captain guy who takes over Yamamoto and Bleach, who can go into shadows and stuff, and like pop out in another shadow. Like, imagine that, but with energy blasts. Like, what if you could just like, without even having power to tank it, what if you could just like freely jump into an energy blast and move around in it? Heck, what if you could like jump into one person's energy blast and come out of somebody else's? Like, you jump into Goku's kamehameha and you like jump out of Vegeta's final flash like 5 years later. Or in the past. Or just make a fucking time travel bullshit. Heck, if we want time travel, like, how about Higurashi? The Hinamizawa syndrome stuff? What if you could do that in Dragon Ball Z? Like what if... I mean, not like the idea like Babidi making Majin Goku or Majin Gohan. But like, imagine Goku in a version of the story where Kami and Piccolo don't exist. And it's after the tournament where Goku fought Tien the first time. It was a draw. And then all of a sudden Goku has Hinamizawa syndrome from Higurashi. So that Goku's like super paranoid and hallucinating. And he's like scratching at his neck at the imaginary bugs under his skin. I guess at this point what we're saying is this. What if a Dragon Ball Z character suddenly had violent schizophrenia? Or what, like a different anime, like Naruto or Bleach or something. Or I'm just saying, like, what if you like get hit by a Kamehameha and you just sort of like let it flow through you, like you're standing in a river, and you could like scoop up parts of Goku's Kamehameha and lift out like you're lifting water out of a moving river. Then again, I guess at that point we're like turning the crystal Kamehameha into like river Kamehameha. So instead of turning into a crystal, we're turning into water, I guess. I don't know. Okay, the next thing. Atomic telekinesis. Okay, here's an idea. What if a person had like telekinesis, but it wasn't telekinesis? And everyone's like, that's just fucking least clear bullshit you've ever fucking said. And it's been a very high bar to surpass incomprehensible bullshit word salad, man. And okay, here's what I'm going with. And I'm not talking like elfin lied, like arms that are coming out of a person, because that's a different thing, but it's kind of a similar idea. Heck, what if Gohan gets like a second stage, like a Bankai version of his beast mode, where like it's still the same thing, but it gets more red and more black, and like the colors become inverted and painful to look at, I guess, and a little more buff and furry, I guess, and he's got like the arms coming out of him, but they can be seen, like Elfin lied. I don't know, but what I'm saying is, I'm not talking about like arms, energy arms and stuff come out of you. I'm talking about no, I'm talking about like actual telekinesis where you like move stuff in your mind. No, here's the idea. What if it's you're able to like control energy with your mind, but it's more so it's hooked to you like chains, like say kurapika from Hunter x Hunter. But the idea is this: what if you could like the way neurons would connect, to where you could like connect almost like you're extending nerves like Pernida out of Bleach. And yeah, I guess that's technically what it'd be. Like you're extending it through the air, and it's not nerves. It's more like it's more so you're imagining a small bit of energy that's connecting to individual atoms that allows you to connect to something else so that you can move it as though it's part of you. Or you could like, I guess the best way to put, I don't know, does that count as telekinesis then? Like imagine like there's a baseball in front of you and you like imagine your arm moves forward, and so there's like an energy from you that's kamehameha, but it's coalescing into a solid state that lets you pick up something that's 5 feet further away. Everyone's like, that sounds like the laziest thing in the world. It's like, are you going to get up, turn the dial on a TV, or are you going to use a TV remote? This is basically a power that's just a TV remote. This isn't a superpower. This is just lazy with more steps. Wait a minute, that sounds like something else. Damn, what was that? That reminds me of something, but I already forgot what it was instantly. If I can remember. Baki the Grappler! The imaginary, like, oh, I'm imagining a praying mantis in a fight, and it's actually real. That's basically what that is. Huh. It's like the Star Trek holodeck, but it's like portable. Okay, last thing. Kurapika, god of destruction. So, 2 things to say here. 1. Actually, I got 3 things to say. Thing 1. What if there was a god of destruction introduced who had the same power as Kurapika, but a god of destruction? Also, all the negatives that are with Kurapika's powers are gone. So only the positives, also the power of being a god of destruction. So imagine somebody that's on the level of like Beerus, or at least close to it. But not stronger than Beerus. But at least close to being equal to, or at least not that far below that. And so at least, how about this? Let's say a god of destruction that has a power level equal to Super Saiyan God Goku that he had when he first fought Beerus in that first movie. But it's Kurapika. And all the power is Kurapika and none of the downsides. How would that fight go? Option 2. What if, again, all the positives but none of the negatives of Kurapika's powers? But what if you gave all of Kurapika's powers to Yamcha? What would be the strongest form of Goku that Yamcha would be able to stand against? Like, I think Yamcha, with all the beneficial abilities of Kurapika, would at least be able to potentially beat Super Saiyan 2 Goku in Dragon Ball Super. And that's not me gassing up Yamcha. That's me gassing up the amazingness of the powers and skills that Kurapika has. Then again, that's more so just talking about Kurapika's abilities. Next question is this. What if you had somebody in Dragon Ball Z who had the same potential as the characters in Dragon Ball Z. But let's say their personality was that of Kurapika. Heck, how about this? Imagine Yamcha. But at any point throughout the story, especially earlier on in the story, what if you were to suddenly substitute Yamcha's personality with Kurapika's personality? How? And obviously, I'm holding out all the stuff like the revenge against the spiders. Let's say a lot of that emotional baggage is still there as part of the personality, but what it's directed to is not there. And again, I understand that does make it kind of sound like a hollow description of a character. But the main thing is this. We can all agree that Kurapika is very focused and very goal-oriented and takes things like training very seriously. And we can agree that Yamcha has not taken his training very seriously himself. So, I'd say almost what if how about that? What if someone with Kurapika's overall personality, but none of the baggage or negative stuff, but the same drive and focus as Kurapika, but none of the shit weighing him down emotionally? Sort of an unchained version? But, still have the chains because it's a power ability. What I'm saying is this. What if Goku ran into Kurapika, the desert bandit, and instead of being a martial artist, it was, the way he was as Wolfgang Fist, is that he was a Nen user who has a skill in martial arts and combat, but also has these chains, with none of the negative side effects. How would the story have gone different? Would Kurapika have hooked up with Bulma? Would Kurapika have trained with Roshi? How would Kurapika have reacted to Pilaf, to the Red Ribbon Army, to Piccolo Daimao, to Tien, to Roshi, to Raditz? And here's the thing, if Kurapika did wind up, dating Bulma, I wouldn't see Kurapika being a cheater. I could see Kurapika being a little bit obsessed and into his own stuff, like just developing a new technique or something and training a bit too hard. But at this point, I'm more so describing Kurapika as Vegeta. So honestly, if we were to look at personality alone, Kurapika's basically Vegeta, isn't he? Honestly, doesn't Kurapika and Vegeta actually have the same personality? To a large degree. Obviously, there are some differences, but they're both very focused individuals. I suppose that's another way to look at it. What if Yamcha had more of Vegeta's personality when... Or what if when Vegeta came to the Earth, what if Vegeta had more of Yamcha's personality? What if Vegeta was completely justified in killing Nappa? What if he knew that Nappa was secretly a spy for Frieza. What if the maximum power that Vegeta showed in this fight against Goku was his true maximum, but Nappa had only ever seen half of that, and Vegeta had been hiding, only ever fighting at half power around Nappa, so that he could at least have a little bit of a trump card to use against Frieza and his men to have a little bit more power than they would be expecting. What if Nappa was secretly a spy for Frieza, planning to betray Vegeta all along? And what if Vegeta knew this? And what if Vegeta took that opportunity to kill Nappa when that happened because he needed plausible deniability to explain to Frieza why Nappa died, because he couldn't just kill Nappa and because then he'd be like, oh yeah, I found out Nappa was your spy. Obviously that would tip Vegeta's hand. But this situation, he could just came after killing Goku and like, yeah, the Earthlings and the other Saiyan we ran into was too strong. Because keep in mind, the scouters recorded everything, including why they were there, the power levels, and at least even if the power level was over 9,000, if Vegeta's, say, true power was 28,000, and he'd only been showing 14,000, he could still swing at that. He could have easily killed Goku and all the others with his power level 14,000. 9,000 versus... But, and he'd be like, yeah, it's just unfortunate Nappa got killed. And also the fact at this point that Vegeta would be the last remaining Saiyan, while Frieza would have issues with the Saiyans overall. It'd be one thing if they were seeing it as a race, but as opposed to if it's just Vegeta, and Vegeta is still loyal at that point. Then again, that's another idea. What if Frieza wasn't a fucking bigoted piece of shit? I mean, obviously he blew up the planet. But what if that was like out of the fear of the Super Saiyan shit and all that? But what if eventually imagine years before they go to Earth or something, Frieza actually sits down with Vegeta and is like, hey, I got something to tell you, man. It wasn't a meteor. It wasn't Meteor Chan that blew up your planet, man. It was me. Though also in some retcons, it's because Beerus told him to. But, on the other hand, you can be like a version of the story where Beerus doesn't exist. Imagine Frieza actually apologizes to Vegeta. I don't know, imagine a version of the story where it actually was a fucking meteor. And Frieza wasn't a fucking asshole. Let's say, what if Frieza really just he didn't dislike the Saiyans. And it actually was a meteor that destroyed them. And he actually cared about Vegeta. And got him a puppy. I don't know. We're getting off topic. Also, what if you could, use your energy, but instead of making a kamehameha, you could just, split an atom? Imagine how that would go in a fight. It's not even an issue of you're using a ki blast. It's that you're just like, hi, Goku. Hey, you know that hydrogen atom right next to you? Boom! Here's a question. If you point blank hit a Super Saiyan with a nuclear warhead, it would still kill them, right? How big would an explosion on the moon have to be for us to see it from the surface with our naked eye? If the planet Jupiter exploded, would we see it? And if so, how well? And for how long? Okay. Main point I'm just trying to say is, Kurapika in the Dragon Ball Z universe, but with the potential of the Dragon Ball fighters. Like, imagine, like, if Goku was fighting an opponent with, like, Yamcha's power level, but all of Kurapika's abilities. Or, like, imagine if Kurapika suddenly came to the Dragon Ball Z universe and had a power level equal to Yamcha. Or if had a power level to base Goku. Or Super Saiyan Goku. Like, the question is this. If you brought Kurapika to Dragon Ball Z universe, and you had him fight against Goku, one, as the power level you would expect him to have from the Hunter x Hunter show, obviously somewhere in the original Dragon Ball. I suppose that'd be a question. How well would the Kurapika, straight from Hunter x Hunter, do against Goku right after the tournament? You know, with Piccolo. Like, I'm just saying this. I feel Kurapika could be weaker than Goku and still pull out a win, as long as the power difference isn't that much. Like, I feel Kurapika with, like, when Goku and Piccolo fought against Raditz, the power level each of them had, I think Kurapika, with just the power level Goku had, could 1v1 Raditz with his ability, with the way Kurapika's abilities are. So, it's not that I'm dissing Goku's fighting style, which again, Goku's a great fighter. I'm just saying I'm trying to very strongly praise Kurapika's abilities. Plus, Kurapika's actually a very skilled martial artist as well. It's just, of course, I am a bit of a Goku fanboy. So, then again, I'm kind of a fanboy for all of Dragon Ball Z. I like a lot of the characters. But I'm just saying, heck, imagine they have any other animes as far as introducing other characters, but having powers scaled a certain way. Then again, I still think it'd be interesting, because remember this, Ox King looks very much like King Yama. So I'm just saying this, what if Ox King's parents are King Yama and Princess Snake? And let's say King Yama, Princess Snake fucked King Yama. King Yama never even knew Princess Snake got pregnant. And when Ox King was about to get born, she sent him to Earth and has not kept track. That would also mean that Chi-Chi, her grandma is Princess Snake, and her grandpa is King Yama. Also means Gohan is descended from King Yama. Then let's also say that there's a being called a Zero Kai that would be the very first god of destruction and the person who first created Hakai, as well as he's not the first Kai, he's the Zero Kai, meaning he created the first Kai. Because there's the tree that the Kais come from. The Zero Kai could be the being that made the tree that they come from. And the very first one could be the Supreme Kai of Time from Dragon Ball Xenoverse, which could have been Zero Kai's wife, and they could have had a child being King Yama. And let's say Beast Mode is actually not a Saiyan transformation, but is actually the Zero Kai's transformation. This would also mean that technically Chi-Chi, Ox King, Goten, Pan, and King Yama himself could technically use Beast Mode. I guess part of the reason I thought of that is some of these outfits that Kurapika wears kind of reminds me of the outfits that the Kaioshins wear. I don't know. Sorry this is a long video. I'm trying not to do long videos. Anyway, I'm gonna upload this and go to bed. So... Oh, fuck. Sorry about that. Oh, fuck. But I'm gonna upload this and try to go to bed, and I am very tired. So, I'm gonna go to sleep. Good night, everybody, and I hope everyone has all the hugs and head pats you could ever want or need. Bye.